It's a postcard weather type day in Florida's capital city of Tallahassee as we welcome you to this presentation of ACC baseball on ESPN. The lone undefeated team in the nation, the 16-0 Florida State Seminoles, welcome Notre Dame back to Mike Martin Field for Game 2 of their weekend set, Florida State's first ACC set of the season. Welcome inside the broadcast with everybody. Alongside the All-American closer, Chris Chavez, I'm Sean Davison. Thank you for spending your afternoon at the ballpark with us. And Chris, things tend to change in ACC play. It had been smooth sailing for Florida State, relatively easy to this point. Notre Dame, though, showed a lot of fight last night.
They did, and they got on Cam Leiter early in the first inning to show that they were ready to play.
Well, you mentioned that they got on him early. In fact, it was Connor Hanks who got all over that pitch and sent it into the parking lot. The Fighting Irish would score first yesterday afternoon here at Dick Howser Stadium.
Yeah, but not to be outdone, the Seminoles put a 6 spot up the bottom of the first, and no hits bigger than Marco Dinges right there with that bomb off the scoreboard to left field.
Dinges, a new face in the Florida State clubhouse, but an experienced one is James Tibbs III. He provides a ton of veteran ABs, and he had 3 more hits last night.
Yeah, and to keep going with veterans, Cam Smith, not to be outdone by his teammate, has 3 hits of his own, and this absolute mammoth shot to right center field that he knew off the bat was out of the park.
When all was said and done, Florida State would win Game 1 of this weekend set 8-4 over the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. And as I mentioned it, Florida State is the lone undefeated team in Division I baseball. Their first 16-0 start since 2013. That 16-0 start and this 16-0 start tied for second in terms of best all-time starts in program history, second only to the 2017 that started off 23-0 to get things going out of the gates. Jamie Arnold will try to carry that momentum here this afternoon, the sophomore from Tampa, Florida, one of a number of young men who have come to Florida State from Jesuit High School over there in the Tampa area, and his numbers, Chris, have been remarkable.
Absolutely spectacular. I mean, you see that 0 right there in the ERA column. I don't care who you're playing. 4 college baseball games to not give up any runs, you're doing a lot right. You see that 22 innings pitched, only 5 walks to 32 strikeouts, .86 whip. I mean, we've talked about it before, but it's that fastball slider combo of his and developing that changeup, but that uptick in that velo from last year where he was 89-90 to now he's 92-96.
And he starts off at 93 on the gun to T.J. Williams, who for the second straight day will lead things off for the Fighting Irish. Connor Hanks, the hot bat in the lineup, batting .375, had a home run, as we showed you, and a triple yesterday to go along with it. So a lot of extra bases for Hanks. Also keep an eye on David Glancy batting second, Baumgart, Penny, Flores, Gump, Moreno, and Tinney rounding things out at the bottom of the order for Sean Stifler in Notre Dame. Crowd wanted the call on the 0-2. Looked like a pretty good pitch. Up and in, though, to T.J. Williams. It'll go as ball 1.
That looked like a great pitch right there. I think everybody got frozen there, hitter and the umpire.
Art Thigpen will call the balls and strikes for us here this afternoon as that one's fouled back. He's joined by Tim Rosso at first base, Matthew Schaefer at second, Craig Barron at third. As Williams, the senior from Germantown, Maryland, who's made the move from the bottom of the order all the way to the very top, largely due to those numbers. They want to get him a couple of extra ABs to try to set the table and get the party started for the Fighting Irish. He's trying to battle back in the count here against Arnold straight out of the gates. That's an admirable effort at that. Another one spoiled by Williams. That's fouled back off the netting.
Doing what a leadoff hitter's supposed to do, seeing a lot of pitches in the first at bat.
And we'll see another one.
8 pitches already.
Came up empty, and that'll be strike 3. Williams ran down to first, thinking it was a drop third strike. He's being called back by Thigpen. That'll be a strikeout for Arnold to start.
Not sure what happened right here. Actually didn't catch it clean. I don't know if it hit the back leg of Williams, which kills the play, and he would be out, but not sure. Either way, great pitch by Arnold to get the first out.
The sophomore wins the battle with Williams, and he starts off David Glancy off speed with strike one. Glancy, the senior from Neptune City, New Jersey, transferred in from St. John's. A call on the outside corner for Arnold. 264 the batting average. Those 6 home runs, though, lead Notre Dame, one of 2 guys with 6 on the season. Notre Dame, as a team, one of the best home run hitting teams in America. Came into the weekend ranked in the top 5, in fact, in the NCAA in that department.
And added another one last night and almost had 2.
Certainly did. This one off the end of his bat. Ferrer giving chase and won't quite get there. Glancy's flare is a 1-out base runner.
You see Ferrer right there giving it a valiant effort.
Creates a little traffic on the base paths now for Connor Hinks. Cam Whiter retired both Williams and Glancy before Hinks found the parking lot the first day. And now for the senior from Western Springs, Illinois, if he duplicates those efforts in the first today, would drive in 2 runs instead of 1. 2 balls, no strikes.
Starting him off backwards, 2 breaking balls in a row.
2 for 4 last night for Hinks. I mentioned also had a triple, earned a walk, drove in 2 runs between the 2 extra base knocks. Hinks, a self-made guy who's really come into his own here this season. His head coach Sean Stifler telling us he swung his way into his rhythm.
He really did, and just talks about he just keeps working. He never stops. Every time he sees him on the field, whether it's during practice or after practice, he's constantly working.
Oh, what a spot. Fastball on the outside corner. That's the second strikeout of the first inning for Jamie Arnold.
I'll tell you what, Arnold starts him off with 2 breaking balls for balls, and this goes to heck with it. 3 fastballs in a row, 2 that he couldn't catch up to, and then dots one on the outside corner right there for strike 3.
That brings up Simon Baumgart. Baumgart, one of a handful of guys, including Glancy, who's stationed at first, who is a graduate transfer on this Notre Dame Fighting Irish team. And on the first offering there, 0-1, another fastball by Arnold. Baumgart, who hails from Evergreen, Colorado, comes to Notre Dame from Tulane. And he's quickly 0-2.
So 96 right there on the gun. And you can see Arnold's feeling a little bit. When Arnold's going, you can see him, he's talking to himself on the mound in between pitches.
And he's feeling it early. 3 strikeouts for Arnold in the first around a David Glancy single into right. And the Noles are off and running here at Hauser. What a start for Arnold.
I'll tell you what, that fastball is electric today. When he can locate it up in the zone, it's going to be a long day for Notre Dame.
After Jamie Arnold records 3 strikeouts to get his outing started, Matt Bedford, the senior from Staten Island, heads to the bump for Notre Dame to get his start underway here at Mike Martin Field. Bedford making his 6th start of the season here today. A 1-2 record, ERA above 5 through a previous 15 1/3 combined innings of work.
Now, I'll tell you what, this guy's the kind of guy that's going to come out, fill it up, throw strikes, keep his guys in the game, but when he's working, there's going to be a lot of ground balls with that sinker at 91, 94.
No Diamez Ross today. It'll be Max Williams in center field. He'll also lead things off for Florida State. And he jumps on the first offering by Bedford and fouls it away. So it's Williams, the Alabama transfer, at the top of the order, followed up by Cam Smith, who's now batting north of 500 on the year. Tibbs III, Ferrer, Dinges, Cantu, West in the backstop, and Lodi's rounding things out for Link Jarrett and Florida State here this afternoon. This has been the part of the equation that Notre Dame is trying to figure out. Chris, we saw the bullpen yesterday held up pretty darn well against Florida State. It's getting out of the gates that's been the issue for the Fighting Irish.
Yeah, you said it best. I mean, the bullpen, to me, I thought was outstanding for them. Cooper coming in relief, really, in that situation with the bases loaded and giving up, or first and third, and giving up no runs, and it just followed suit. But it's that starting pitching that they've really been trying to figure out where to go with it, because it's really been rough for them so far this season.
Good numbers for Max Williams to this point this season. Hasn't played in every game, has a handful of starts, batting nearly 300, one of a couple of guys who transferred in from the University of Alabama. In fact, he and Jackson West, the starting catcher this afternoon from Florida State, making their way from Tuscaloosa to Tallahassee.
And again, another good AB for a leadoff guy. Notre Dame's leadoff hitter Williams had a real good AB. Now Max Williams for FSU doing the same thing.
And that's fair. What an AB to kick things off for Florida State. That'll slice all the way into the corner. Williams is heading for three. He'll slide in safe. It's a leadoff triple.
And look at the excitement you see right there. Max Williams getting an opportunity and taking advantage of it early in the game. Gets a breaking ball away and just slaps it down the third baseline. Kind of gets by the left fielder there. He's on third base early in the game. As you see here, great piece of hitting. Just slaps it the other way, but it's tough here the way that, the fence kind of jets into foul territory, and it just kind of ate up the left fielder right there and got by him. Max able to get the third.
And so up steps Cam Smith, started off with strike one by Bedford. And you mentioned Smith's mammoth shot in the eighth inning last night. They popped up the replay of that on the video board here at Hauser, and they had the exit numbers. Oh, goodness gracious. 400 feet, 100 off the bat. 108 off the bat, that's right.
I'll tell you what, Dinges was 110 when he hit his out. I mean, the Noles consistently are hitting at exit velos over 100. I mean, and that's, when you start hitting the ball over 100 miles an hour, that's professional kind of bat speed.
And it leads to numbers like the ones you just saw on screen by Cam Smith, who wears that pitch off his backside, and that's how he started off yesterday's game, actually, with a hit-by pitch on his hand on Friday night.
Yeah, right now, FSU's kind of hoping he follows suit with what happened after that, going 3 for 3.
So an HBP in the scores column for Cam Smith, his first time to the plate, both yesterday and today. And that does exactly what you don't want to do if you're Notre Dame. Runners at the corners for Florida State with a red-hot James Tibbs at the plate. Batting average pulled north of 400 after his 3-hit night just last night. On base percentage, 12 points shy of 500.
Tell you what, we talked about it last night with Tibbs and just the professional ABs he takes up there. And it's why you see the strikeout to walk ratio that you see with him. He's not a guy who's going to strike out a lot. He's going to put the ball in play, or he's going to get on base by walking.
It really is a testament, too. I mean, when you look at the average, the run production, the power, as well as the ability to see pitches, recognize things, and earn your way on base via the walk, he checks all the boxes, doesn't he?
He does. Like we said, 12 walks to only 6 strikeouts.
And that's hit well, but foul. Everybody on their feet thinking that was going to make its way into the corner. It did, but on the wrong side of the line for Florida State. Tibbs, who's batting .481 with runners in scoring position this season. Just add another impressive number to what he has done so far this year.
And that's why those RBIs are where they are. 31 of them already this year.
2-1. And now it goes 3-1. Williams on at third. Cam Smith on at first. Hitters count to Tibbs. And fouled it off himself. Crowd filing in here to Hauser on this Saturday afternoon. Really warm day out here, especially for early March. Sometimes you do, depending on the season, even into mid-March, it'll still be lingering around in the 60s. Today, 83 degrees.
Yeah, usually that spring break time, you always get like the last cold front coming through. But this year, in the 80s right now, beautiful day for baseball.
That's grooved and snagged, and that'll double off Smith. What a play by Moreno at second.
Tell you what, that might be the break Notre Dame needed right there. This ball is absolutely torched by James Tibbs. Cam Smith's moving on the pitch, and there's nothing he can do right there.
Tip the cap to Estevan Moreno, who's made a name for himself in terms of being a power hitter for Notre Dame. He's been rock solid up the middle. Case in point right there. Jaime Ferrer jumps on the breaking ball a little more.
If Bedford's able to get out of this without giving up a run, that play right there might be something you remember later in the game for sure.
Yeah, certainly. Highlight it, circle it, underline it, put a star next to it. Could be massive for the Fighting Irish as Ferrer, who also has decent numbers, batting north of 300, steps into the plate.
Yeah, Ferrer had that streak a little while ago with 4 home runs in 4 consecutive games.
Fan there, 1-2. He hails from Puerto Rico. When he was younger, made the move to the mainland of the United States in the Orlando area. And not only he, but when he moved up here to go to school, the rest of the family followed. So the Ferrer fam in full force here in Tallahassee. And they're all looking on as he takes another look at a 1-2. Ferrer, a guy that if you look at the scouting report over the past few years, Chris, he would be labeled as one of the more aggressive guys in the batting order. He'll jump on pitches early. He'll try to do some damage. It's gotten him into trouble at times. There's been some swing and miss. A little bit better this year, though.
Definitely has been better. His pitch selection has been better.
A good battle here.
You already had Max Williams, who worked a deep count. Now you got Jaime doing the same thing. Getting Bedford's pitch count up in the first inning for sure.
Both Williams and Tibbs saw 6 pitches. And Jaime Ferrer, as you mentioned, working it up there as well.
It's a good job right there by Jaime. Close fastball down in the zone. Just a little too low. I think, like you talked about last year, Jaime's probably swinging at that pitch. Right there, he's able to spit at it, get the count full.
And that's hit well. Out to right center field, and it's gone!
I'll tell you what, we just talked about that pitch selection. He lays off that pitch and doesn't take a swing at a ball, then gets a slider a little up in the zone and absolutely jumps all over it, drives it to the deepest part of the field for a home run. Great job right there by Jaime Ferrer.
That is a tricky part of the ballpark to send one out. You've got the sheer depth of where it had to carry, plus You start peeling out to right center, you've got some of that screen, that vertical element as well that you also have to carry, and he had no problem with either.
Yeah, like I said, he got a break ball. Wasn't a bad pitch by Bedford. Maybe he left it a little bit too much center cut, but Jaime did exactly what you're supposed to do when when a pitcher misses. He jumped all over it.
And so Florida State, after creating some traffic early, then having some of it eliminated by a tremendous play up the middle, cash in anyway off the bat of Jaime Ferrer.
Absolutely. And we talked about that play maybe being something to check. Jaime kind of erased that right there.
Curtain call for Jaime Ferrer, who's just getting his party started. Official distance coming in at 396. Here's Drew Ferrer behind 0-2. And that'll do it for the first inning for Florida State. Ferrer fanned by Bedford, but the final out of the first came one batter too late for Notre Dame. Florida State jumps all over the Fighting Irish. They lead 2-0. Here at Dick Howser Stadium, and the Florida State Seminoles rolling early over Notre Dame. 2 in the first for Florida State, courtesy of a Jaime Ferrer home run. Thank you for joining us. Sean Davis and Chris Chavez, our entire crew on hand here at Dick Howser Stadium, is the lone undefeated team in America, already winning Game 1 over the Fighting Irish in their ACC weekend opener. Looking to win the first 2 and cinch the series here this Saturday afternoon in Florida's capital city. 20 pitches for Jamie Arnold in the first inning. He recorded 3 strikeouts, sandwiching a soft single into right, a flare by Glancy. And starting off Jack Penny now with strike 1. Penny, the guy who, for the most part this season, has been leading things off. D.M. Jefferson has at points as well for Notre Dame, but as good a hitter as he is, and Sean Stifler has come right out and told us, he said he's as talented a hitter as I've seen and coached. He's just not off to a great start. They've moved him down the order, trying to take some of that pressure off. There's his numbers on the season, and that is not going to help.
Tell you what, Arnold is cooking right now with that fastball and being able to locate it up in the zone, down the zone, inside, outside. Like I said, this could be a long day for Notre Dame if he's able to do that all day. You see this. I mean, he just spots it right on the outside corner. I mean, pitcher's pitch. Freezes Penny up.
And that'll bring up Tito Flores. To the DH. Again, working inside, it goes 2-0. Flores, a guy that started a bit out in right field, fanned there by Jamie Arnold. Transferred in from Michigan. He hails from Allen Park, Michigan, in fact, and of course that's a huge rivalry, so from Michigan to Notre Dame, here's Flores, who is batting .261 on the year. 2-2.
That's the pitch right there. When Arnold can get that pitch swung at, when guys chase it, it is so hard for the hit just because of the angle of his arm slot, how that pitch looks to the hitter. It looks like it's rising in the zone. And you see right here, Arnold and you see him shaking his head. Right now, in his mind, he thinks they have no shot to touch him today. And that's the confidence he's exuding right now. Fastball just blows it by him on the outer half.
5 strikeouts for Arnold. Every single out recorded by the pitcher himself. And he starts off Brady Gump with strike 1.
I mean, right now it's just kind of like movie Major League with Rick Vaughn. I mean, it's like, forget the curveball, Ricky. Just give him the heater. I mean, he's just coming straight fastballs going right at these hitters.
No call away to Gump. It's 2-1. Gump, who is a coach's kid times 2. His dad, John, was an assistant coach for the Notre Dame baseball team some time ago. Mom Deanna, the winningest coach in Notre Dame athletics history, and still coaching the Notre Dame softball team. Strong blue and gold lineage in the bloodline for Gump. And they'll work the count full.
See, I like to see Arnold right here, stepping off right now, regrouping.
Man. 3 more strikeouts for Jamie Arnold. He's got 6 through 2.
And I'll tell you what, you see him shaking his head right there. I mean, that mentality is just exuding through him today to his teammates, too. He's saying to himself, he's walking out the field, these guys have absolutely no chance to touch me today. And you see it right here with Arnold in these highlights. I mean, it is fastball dotting on the outer half, fastball away, and then he elevates the fastball here to the last hitter. Gump can't catch up. Outstanding day already, and a great start to Arnold the nose.
As we get set for the bottom of the second, Marco Dinges jumping on the first offering by Nat Bedford and fouling it back. It's 0-1 to Florida State's designated hitter. There's Link Jarrett, the 2-time National Coach of the Year, who was the head coach at Notre Dame before taking over here at his alma mater in Tallahassee. Led the Fighting Irish to their 3rd ever Omaha appearance in 2022. Nearly did it in 2021 as well. Last year, not the year that Jared or the Seminoles would have wanted. They hit the reset button and hit the reload button, and they're off to a great start this year as Dinges is retired up the middle by Penny.
Yeah, nice backhand by Penny, making it look easy.
And there's Sean Stifler, the head coach at Notre Dame, who told us, look, while we're trying to figure out the pitching, it's a little atypical for me because whether it's been at VCU, where I was for the last 10 years, or now at Notre Dame, my calling card is my teams are notoriously hard to score on, and that just hasn't necessarily been the case this year. They're hoping to check mark some of those boxes and figure some things out here today as Cantu goes into left. It's a nice play by David Glancy.
Yeah, almost similar to the play Glancy made yesterday, too. Just showing off the defensive skills he's got out there in left field. But you're right, Coach Stifler talked about it. I mean, they're just trying to find guys that can be strike 1, strike 2 on a consistent basis. There's that play again by Glancy. Cantu hitting it, coming from the left side. That ball slicing away from Glancy. Able to get on his horse and get there and make a nice play.
He's made a few of them already this weekend. We're only 1 game and a couple innings in. Here's Jackson West stepping in. Ball 1 to Florida State's catcher this afternoon. West, who hails from right here in Tallahassee. Older brother Gage also played for the Seminoles a handful of years ago. Took a swing on that one. Got underneath it a touch, though. T.J. Williams waiting on it and ranging over to secure out number 3. And that is a great inning of work for Bedford.
Yeah, great inning right there to the inning to get a 1-2-3-1 after giving up 2 last inning. Great job.
Arnold off to, well, I think tremendous would be the appropriate way to describe his start through 2 innings, Chris. 6 outs to get. He's retired all of those via the strikeout.
And you see the line there. No walks, that one little flare hitting the right field. But he's definitely shown he's feeling it today. But again, this game's still early. But the way he's been pitching this year and the focus he's had, I'd like to think he's going to continue this throughout the game.
38 strikeouts now on the year, including those 6 for Arnold, who came in to this weekend with the 3rd best strikeout to walk ratio of any pitcher in the ACC.
Well, that's already climbed.
Yeah. Connor Whitaker actually leading the ACC in that department, followed by Brett Renfro at Virginia Tech. We'll see Whitaker getting the start in all likelihood tomorrow for the Seminoles. How about that? Your Saturday and Sunday guys, 2 of the best in the conference in strikeout to walk.
Well, that definitely changes things. And you talked about last year where they were. And to have that now in that rotation and being able to throw strikes on a consistent basis has definitely changed the tone for the Noles so far this year.
Estevan Moreno started off with a strike, and I'm not sure where that one missed.
Me either.
There's the numbers for Moreno, who made a web gem play up the middle to really keep Florida State in check, all things told, in the first inning. A line drive by Tibbs that he skied for and fired to first to double off Cam Smith. Otherwise, the home run by Jaime Ferrer would have drove in a couple more at least for Florida State. Two and two to Moreno.
There's Arnold again talking to himself between pitches.
Sharply hit the foul. Arnold's recorded as many as 11 strikeouts in his career. He's already got 6. And Moreno just catches a piece of that to, for the moment, avoid that turning into 7.
Good job right there, because that's that elevated fastball at 95. Be able to get a piece of it and hang in there.
Oh, what a pitch. Off speed for strike 3.
And Arnold goes to the slider right there and backdoors it in there and just kind of freezes Moreno up. You see this slider right here, backdoors. Good job by West getting underneath that, trying to stick it a little better.
That'll bring up Carson Kinney. He jumps on that fastball by Jamie Arnold. And Chris, we talked about the uptick in velo for Arnold and just the command as well that he has of all of his pitches, whether it's the fastball or the secondary stuff. It's a stirring combination of velo and pitchability.
And it is. I mean, the thing you're seeing more than you saw last year, too, obviously, like you said, the velo, but last year, a lot of times it seems like he was just trying to force it a little bit. You know, he was trying to overthrow. That front side was flying open. Now you just see a little bit more relaxed pitcher and guy with a lot more confidence on the mound. And a lot of that comes from when he went to the Cape this summer and just really pitched really well to build that confidence up.
Arnold was a Cape Cod League All-Star over the summer, as a matter of fact. And Tenney got a hold of that one. Lifted out to right field, out toward the wall, to the fence, and off the top of it. That'll be the second hit of the game for Notre Dame. It's a 2-out double for the catcher.
Yeah, that's just a, Mike Martin field base hit right there is what that is. Pop fly to right field. Didn't really get a hold of it real well, but it just kept carrying, the wind blowing out to right field. It hits off that screen.
I think I called that a 2-out double. That's a 1-out double. My apologies, but really nice piece of hitting.
And he just missed getting that out. It hit the College World Series appearance sign out there in right field.
That'll turn things over to T.J. Williams, and this will be really interesting to see what adjustments Notre Dame is able to make as they jump off to the second trip through the order. 1-1.
And to see how Arnold does with somebody at second base for the first time today.
Williams, who also led off a bit last year, struck out his first time to the plate. 7 strikeouts for Arnold that first time through the order. And that's hit well out to left field. Jaime Ferrer gets on top of it. That'll hold him at the corners. So T.J. Williams, who's off to an incredible start to this 2024 season, adds another base hit to his record for the year. And Notre Dame's got a little something going.
And Williams jumped all over that pitch and lined it in left field. Probably hit a little bit too hard. Kept the runners third, wasn't able to score on it.
The third hit of the game for Notre Dame, who actually to this point now is out hitting Florida State 3-2. Nothing doing there for David Glancy.
Nice slider by Arnold. Glancy out in front.
Glancy, who steps out here for a second, was an All-Big East second-teamer last year. And like Jamie Arnold, played on the Cape for Wareham. He was a gateman last year. This one on the ground to third. Force at second. Florida State tries to turn the double play. Won't get Glancy. That'll play to run.
I think we're going to get a review here at second base. This might be a good review by Notre Dame. See right here. Yeah, I think Ferrer may have taken that foot off the bag early.
It'll be best case scenario for the Fighting Irish. To not get that force at second. And to have multiple runners aboard with Williams in scoring position, and then behind him, Glancy at first.
See, this is one of those situations, too, though, like Ferrer's been playing short his whole life and moving to second base. At that situation, you kind of need to become a first baseman there. You know you're not going to turn to double play because the ball's not hit well. He needs to be stretching out and just holding that there on the bag to make sure he gets that out there. But, again, learning experience for Ferrer playing second base, for the first time in his career. He's still thinking, let's get two as quickly as he can.
As it stands, David Glancy has plated a run off of a fielder's choice. There was no play at the plate for Smith. He went to second for the force. Florida State tried to turn the double play. Weren't able to get Glancy at first. So Glancy is safe, and the run should score regardless. It's now a question as to whether or not T.J. Williams is also safe at second.
Do remember the call on the field is out at second. That was the call on the field.
Indisputable video evidence to overturn the call on the field, which, as you mentioned again, Chris, is Williams was out. Notre Dame didn't appreciate that call, and they asked for a review because they think Ferrer's foot left the bag on the force attempt. So that is what our ACC umpires are taking a look at on the monitor.
There we go.
And I think you're right on the money. From that one angle, with Matthew Schaefer blocking the play out, you can't really tell one way or another if Ferrer's foot is still intact. Regardless, though, Glancy does drive in a run. And for the first time all year, an earned run charge to Jamie Arnold.
Had to happen sooner or later.
Bring up Connor Hinks. 0-2. Came into the weekend second on the team in batting average, runs driven in, leading the team in doubles. Hit .417 last weekend against Virginia Tech as well.
Nice stop right there by Jackson West.
One of the teams in the ACC getting started last weekend, of course, including Notre Dame in Blacksburg. Florida State getting started this weekend. And Hanks is fanned by Arnold. That'll strand Glancy at first. But all things told, the top of the third, a pretty successful one for Notre Dame. They jump on the scorers column, and they trim Florida State's lead down to 1. The 9-1-2 due up for the Noles. Back to the plate. In the right-hand column, you'll see where they rank in the country in each of those statistical categories coming into the weekend. And Alex Lodies has certainly done his part to help the cause. After going 0 for last night, he starts off his efforts here this Saturday afternoon with a single into left.
Yeah, good piece of hitting right here. Drives this ball to left field to get him on the bags. Like you said, had a rough one yesterday, but there you are back with the rankings.
FSU coming in top 5 in batting average, hits, slugging, and runs per game. Now, the numbers on the left are adjusted for what they did yesterday when they scored 8 runs in the opener. And my goodness, even adjusted after yesterday where they had a nice showing at the plate, those numbers incredibly impressive.
They really are. I mean, you talk about where they are. It's not just the pitching, it's not just the defense, but when you can put up 11.8 runs a game, that's difficult for another team to come in and try to beat you.
Good stuff for Lodi's at the bottom of the order. Had a tough day yesterday, as I mentioned. He turns it over to Max Williams, who kicked off Florida State's offensive efforts today with a triple. I think, too, we're tipping the cap to Bedford, who settled in. You know, you remarked to me, Chris, that he was a little miffed, to say the least, coming off the mound in the first inning after striking out Ferrer, because he likely thought that he had Ferrer on strikes before Jaime went yard on him. He's hit the reset button and settled in quite nicely since.
And he has. And he's come in and shown the confidence, you know, that Coach Stifler talked about that he has in him. I mean, because you said, if he gets that strike 3, he goes up the first inning with 0 runs. So that was a big pitch to not get that call.
And if you take that into account, you look at what he's done since, you're talking about Notre Dame leading 1-0 here in the third.
Right.
2-1 to Max Williams, Florida State, starting their second trip through the order. 3 hits for either side to this point in this game. And that one's lifted foul. Will get out of play. It'll turn into a souvenir. Boy, that one took a hard hop. That sounds like a souvenir that might have hurt somebody over there.
And those fans are scattering all the little boys and kids and girls.
Two and two. In case you're just joining us, Max Williams starting in center for Florida State. No Diamez Ross today, not available for the Noles this afternoon. Down goes Williams. That's a big strikeout for Bedford.
A nice pitch by Bedford, too. Changeup right there down in the zone. Gets Williams out in front. You see right here, great changeup. Excellent pitch.
And so up steps Cam Smith, who was hit by a pitch by Bedford. FSU scoring those 2 runs in the first, but when you factor in the fact that Smith did make his way aboard via a hit by pitch, and Tibbs got a hold of one, and it could have been a line drive into the gap in right center, if not for Moreno skying for it. Boy, what could have been for Florida State. You tip the cap to the Fighting Irish for limiting the damage to what they did. FSU certainly looked like they were off to another hot start here this afternoon, and Notre Dame has settled things in here a little bit.
Yeah, like you said, with Cam Smith moving on the pitch on that, that ball gets over his head, is for sure in the gap. You're scoring 2 right there. Instead, it ended up being 2 outs, so big play.
Down goes Smith.
Another great pitch by Bedford here. Gets that sinker at 92 down in the zone. You got Williams on the changeup down there. He gets the fastball. And you see that sink on that fastball. That's a heck of a pitch. When he gets on top of that, that ball just dives hard.
Another check of Williams at first. Excuse me, Lodi's at first. Lays off. Bedford 1 strikeout away from equaling his career high. As a matter of fact, has not struck out more than 4 in a game. He's gone as many as 4 innings, trying to make his way through the third here in Tallahassee.
And it goes back to what we talked about with him being a sinker ball guy, trying to keep everything down in the zone and pitch to contact. It pretty much tells you right there, with only having 4 strikeouts most of his career in the game, what kind of pitcher he is.
Tibbs yet to see anything really to swing at. It's 3-0. The Florida State's left fielder turned first baseman turned right fielder.
I think if Tibbs went left-handed, he probably would have played a few more positions.
And that'll do it. Hicks steps on the bag, and after a leadoff single for Lodi's, Bedford retires the next 3 Knowles ECs. The 4-5-6, 2 up for Notre Dame. He already has 8 this afternoon.
And early it was the fastball, but I think he was like, okay, you've seen my fastball. I may not be outdone. Let me throw you some sliders in there, too. He's been electric with both pitches, and you see it with him walking off the field there last inning. I mean, he's feeling it. And those numbers right there show it. 0 walks, 8 strikeouts through 3 innings.
First earned run of the year charged to Arnold in the last inning of work for Notre Dame. David Clancy scoring a run off a fielder's choice. I mentioned those strikeouts for Arnold. Came into the weekend one of the top guys in terms of strikeouts. That's off the fence. Notre Dame's starting to figure some things out. Baumgart slides into second and cuts the legs out from underneath Lodi's.
Tell you what, Tibbs came up firing and actually had a shot right there. But tough play for Lodi's right there to kind of pick that ball up off the ground. You can see right here, drives it off the screen, but Tibbs gets rid of it quick, gets to the ball. That could have been dangerous right there.
Bring up Jack Penny. Penny retired on strikes. Arnold got him looking to kick things off in the second. In fact, it was Jamie Arnold's only 1-2-3 inning to this point. Retired the entire second inning on strikes. I referenced the last time Penny stepped into the plate that he's not off to the kind of start that he would prefer. As head coach Sean Stifler said, he's still the kind of guy that can turn it on and turn it on quick. And when he does, he can become a downright hitting machine.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, like you said, he's only hitting .214. But he's leading the team in runs with 24. Leading the team in walks with 14. So, I mean, he's finding ways to get on base. And he is being productive, even though right now he's not hitting at the clip he'd like to hit at.
Down he goes for the second time, this time swinging.
There's that elevated fastball right there by Arnold. And as a hitter, it's just tough. That ball comes in, it looks like a beach ball because it's almost eye level. And it looks good to you, and you just can't catch up to it.
Strike one to Tito Flores. In his career at the University of Michigan, right around 300, batted .292 as a Wolverine. Played some outfield. He was also the DH up in Ann Arbor. Made the Big Ten All-Tournament team a couple of times, did Flores. He, too, as I mentioned, struck out in the second. This one elevated out to center field. Williams there to make the play. Baumgart tags and slides in safe at third.
Not real sure about that tag. Rule of thumb is you don't make the first or third out at third. He's already in scoring position.
So there's the potential tying run for Notre Dame. Up steps Brady Gumpf. West laying out there. What a play there by the catcher, making sure that doesn't get to the backstop.
Right. Good effort by West.
1-1. coming into the weekend with hits in 8 of his previous 9 games. Looking to come through with a big one here. And frankly, that's what Coach Stifler said. We've given ourselves opportunities. It's the key hit and the key moment that we're looking for. This would certainly qualify for Gumpf.
Yeah, he did talk about it earlier. Trying to get those 2-out hits. They just haven't been able to come up with them this year. But you're right, this would be a big situation to tie this game up with a 2-out hit.
Two. And that hit him. Baumgart will hold. Not willingly, though.
I'll tell you what.
He was trying to sell it.
He did sell it. He sold it great. He didn't flinch or anything. He acted like it didn't hit him because he knew I was going to get the run in. You see right here, actually, he kind of stuck that elbow out a little bit. I'm not saying it was a strike, but he definitely kind of stuck that chicken wing out there a little bit.
So Gumpf makes his way aboard. And here's Estevan Moreno, the guy who really limited the damage in the first for Notre Dame. Could perhaps he do a little damage here? Micah Posey is going to come on out and have a word with his sophomore starter.
I'll tell you what, right here, too, the one thing about striking out a lot of guys, your pitch count can climb pretty quick. And as you see, he's already at 73 pitches. I think Posey's just settling him down right here and just saying, hey, man, make a pitch right here. We got 2 outs. Make a pitch. Get us back in the dugout.
Micah Posey, the Conference USA Assistant Coach of the Year back in 2023 with Dallas Baptist. A guy who is so well regarded in coaching circles for what he's done with staffs around the country, and now coming back home to his native Tallahassee to see if he can work his magic here at Hauser. So far, so good for Florida State. Arnold trying to work his way out of this sticky situation here in the 4th.
Yeah, we talked with Posey before the game and just about the bullpen and how they're starting to kind of come together, and now being able to move Whitaker in the start rotation and how they can configure the bullpen. They're still trying to fine-tune that. But real happy with the way Leiter threw the ball last night, as well as Short and Oxford.
Gumpf will scamper into second. Bag was open. He took it easily. Three-1 to Moreno. One of the co-leaders in home runs for Notre Dame. He has 6 to this point on the year. And lifts this to right. Got underneath it. Tibbs underneath it as well, and that'll do it for the 4th. The Fighting Irish continue to apply pressure on Arnold and the Seminoles, and this time the sophomore works his way out of it. Ferrer, Dinges to the plate after these messages. Streak to 8 games in grand style. A big bomb out to right center field.
I tell you what, getting the Noles on the board early just like they did last night. You know, he got a slider down. He missed a pitch before, and the umpire missed a pitch according to the starting pitcher if you looked at him walking off the field. But I think Jaime just showed his discipline at the plate, then gets a hanging slider, drives it out center field.
You hang him, we bang him. Jaime Ferrer sends that one into Georgia. And with that home run, a .323 batting average on the season. I mentioned now a hitting streak that is now extended to 8 games for Ferrer. On base percentage north of 400. He also drove in Max Williams, so now 17 RBI on the year for Florida State's left fielder. He'll lead things off. Followed up by Drew Ferrer. Marco Dinges, the DH, will also be waiting in the wings for the Seminoles. 1-0 to Jaime.
See, Bedford's fastball is actually getting stronger as the game goes on. That one was 93. Got a piece of that fastball, offering 1-1. See that Jaime, 4 of his 6 home runs off right-handers.
Ferrer led Florida State in batting average his freshman year, led the team in hits as a sophomore, also led him in doubles. He had a 20-game hitting streak at one point last year.
And now you got Cam with a 20-game hit streak.
94 miles an hour, rode in on him there.
Bedford's starting to feel a little bit. Like I said, that fastball velo's climbing as he's getting more loose and more into the game.
Down goes Ferrer on strikes. That's another strikeout for Bedford. And look at the K strut for number 32 in blue.
Yeah, he's feeling it right now. And always as a pitcher, you feel pretty good after you give up a home run to someone next at bat, you can strike him out. You see that fastball with that late life right there, able to get it by Jaime. Tying his career high for strikeouts for 4.
You said it. I was just about to say, could this be the day that Notre Dame looks at Bedford and says, this guy's starting to turn the corner. We're finding something here.
Well, and Coach Stifler talks about Bedford. I mean, he says he's a leader when it comes to the pitching staff. Just finding that guy. They started him off. He's close. I mean, pitched some Fridays. They moved him to Saturday. Probably trying to make a calling to get back to Friday night.
1 to Ferrer. There's 52 pitches to this point for Bedford. This one to short. Penny to first. No problem. Looking for his second 1-2-3 inning. He retired the Noles in order in the second. Looking to do it again here in the 4th. He gave up a leadoff single to Alex Lodies an inning ago, but then went strikeout, ground out right after that. Denchis out to left field. But Glancy there, a step shy of the track, will take care of it. Well hit by the DH, but an inning well pitched once again for Matt Bedford, who equals his career high in innings of work in Tallahassee today. Looking good through 4 at Hauser. Here in Tallahassee, and Florida State once again has the lead in this weekend set. They jumped on the board first here this afternoon, plating 2 runs in the first off a Jaime Ferrer home run. Notre Dame has since scored 1 to cut into that lead, and will try to continue to ride the wave of momentum. Florida State with the lead, but unmistakably the Fighting Irish, whether it's been Bedford on the bump or what they've been able to manufacture at the plate, has had a bit of a momentum shift here, and it really started with the freshman in the backstop getting things going at the plate for Notre Dame.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, right now, momentum has shifted, I feel like, a little bit.
I mentioned Tinney. He had a 1-out double in the 3rd out to right field, and that really sparked something in Notre Dame. He was followed up by a single by T.J. Williams, and then a fielder's choice by David Glancy would plate Tinney, the catcher. And that is the lone earned run for Jamie Arnold, not just today, but this entire season. 2-2.
And right now, Irish are having good at-bats against Arnold all of a sudden. Getting deep in counts, driving that pitch count up.
As it stands up to 82. This one lifted into foul territory. Cantu ranges over and makes the play.
Start to the inning for Arnold and the Noles. Like I said, with that pitch count getting up there, they let Leiter get to 105 last night. So you think Arnold possibly is going to be in that same pitch count range if need be. With that being said, this inning and one more might be it.
TJ Williams shows bunt. If Arnold does make his way through this inning and through a sixth, that would equal his season high. Also his career high. He's never gone more than 6 in his career. Arnold also perhaps closing in on a career high in strikeouts. He's at 9 right now. He's recorded as many as 11. Williams out to left field. Jaime Ferrer at the track makes a nice play. And that's 2 up, 2 down.
Yeah, Williams put a charge into that one. But the Park was able to hold it in there. Jaime makes a nice catch out there in left field up against the wall.
And that'll bring up David Glancy. Soft single in the first, and then the RBI fielder's choice in the third for the Fighting Irish. And Jamie Arnold starts him off with strike 1. Couldn't hold up there.
Nice slider by Arnold. Right under that.
Oh, he thought he had it.
Thought he backdoored that one in there. See a good live fastball from Arnold right here.
Got him. You called for it. He delivered it. That's strikeout number 10 for the sophomore.
And you see right here, we talked about it. He just lets this one rip. Clancy hadn't seen one in a while. He's done a couple of consecutive off-speed pitches. Just blows it by him. Great into the inning. Knowles rolling in, trying to put some more on the board.
Jamie Arnold's had a good day. Matt Bedford has as well, Chris Chavez.
Yeah, he really settled in after that home run for Jaime Ferrer. With 4 strikeouts, locating the ball down in the zone, and the velocity increasing as he went on. But I'll tell you what, he's out of the game now. Kind of wonder if something might be going on with him, because he had really settled in and was looking to be in control of this game.
4 innings of work for Bedford. That is a career high. The strikeout's also a career high. And if something is indeed wrong for Matt, you certainly wish him all the best as Bennett Flynn checks in to try to keep things rolling for Notre Dame here. The senior from Mill Valley, California, checks in for the Fighting Irish.
And this is one of the guys that they've really been relying on this year. Numbers are really good. Stuff's really good. Coach Stifler talked about this is a guy that he needs 9 to 12 outs every time he goes out on the field.
Ball 1 to Daniel Cantu as the Animals of Section B strike up O Canada. "15 innings of work coming into this one for Bennett Flynn, an ERA at 3.
Yeah, what jumps out at you is those 24 strikeouts in 15 innings.
To only 4 walks.
Correct.
"2-0 meanwhile, the count to Daniel Cantu. There's the first strike.
Good looking breaking ball, good 12-6 rotation, tight break, 80 miles an hour.
Hard hit down the line, that's fair. All the way to the corner for Cantu. It's extra bases for the transfer from USF. He'll kick off the 5th with a double for the Noles.
Great start for the Noles right here in the bottom of the 5th. Oh, Canada working for the Noles again. You see right here, Cantu gets a fastball and just drives it down the right field line for an easy stand-up double. There's that emotion.
FSU's bats largely quiet since they jumped all over the board in the first inning. 106 off the bat down the line for Cantu.
Here comes Mr. Grinder himself and Jackson West. This guy does it all. Sack fly, sack bunts, base hits, walks, hit by pitch. I mean, he just grinds out ABs.
Meanwhile, for Flynn, Chris, you asked Sean Stifler about Flynn and if he was perhaps the closer for this Fighting Irish team, and Stifler quickly said to you a couple of things. One that was funny. He said, when you've got a staff ERA of 6, you don't have a closer. You just have a guy who pitches last. But then he also said, you know, we're going to rely on him to eat up some outs. If he does get a save, it is going to be 9 outs, 12 outs. But what we're also seeing is that for a guy that might be a closer, they don't always pitch at the end of games anymore. They just come in a high-leverage situation, such as this, where Notre Dame's got the momentum and they're trying to hang on to it and get it back to their bats as soon as possible.
Yeah, but if he comes in and does what he's capable of doing, he ends the game.
He could.
Where are they at? He could end the game right now for him and pitch the rest of the way out.
West pulled that one foul. .538 the batting average with runners in scoring position. You look at just about any metric with regards to Florida State, and the numbers are gaudy, and I think the fact that this is a 2-1 game is a testament to the grit and the fight of the Fighting Irish here this Saturday afternoon.
And it really tells you how good Bedford settled in there, too.
How good has this plate appearance been for West?
Well, that's a typical AB for West. Full count, 6 pitch of the at-bat.
Works it full. Cantu on at second. This one pulled to first. It'll skip away. Hanks lost it, and Cantu will score.
And I was just about to say that's as good as a bunt. That's better than a bunt. I mean, and the bad thing is, I hate to say this, but the luck of the Irish right now, the way theirs been this year, that's a tough break for them. Should have been an out at first. Looks like it hits the bag. And it does. Hit the bag and just went straight up. Tough break for the Irish.
That'll go down as a single for Jackson West. And considering the tricky hop off the bag, I'm in favor of that. That's just tough for Hanks. And that's a quality bunt by Lodi's. No play. And look at Florida State running the bases. Nobody was covering third.
That is exactly how that's supposed to be done right there. An excellent bunt. And Jackson West shows how smart he is, a baseball player, and his baseball IQ by never slowing down, because the pitcher right here in this situation, as soon as that third baseman fields that ball, that pitcher has got to get to that bag and cover third base. He didn't do it. The bag's left vacant, and West takes all advantage of it and gets there easily.
That'll bring out Seth Volz. And Chris, while we look in on this conversation on the mound, I want to talk about Florida State's base running. We talked with Link Jarrett about it, and it has been so much better this year. What do you think is the key to that here for Florida State?
Well, I mean, it's kind of what Coach Jarrett talked to us about. They spend 25 minutes every practice doing simulated base running drills. So, I mean, that right there, you know, we talked about what happens in travel baseball now. You just don't get the work in travel baseball because you don't have the time, because mainly you're just playing games. So you don't get to practice base running. So he spends 25 minutes every practice doing that, and that's the conditioning he has for his position players, is their base running.
Yeah, I think that's the interesting thing. He said, I don't do traditional conditioning anymore. That is how we condition our players. And they double it up and they get sharp on the base paths, and Florida State has been razor sharp. Case in point, that right there with West seeing the bag is open and going all the way to third.
You know, we laughed about McGuire Holbrook stretching one out yesterday for a double, and I'm like, people think catchers can't run. There's another catcher right there with a good high IQ play and showing his wheels going from first to third on a bunt.
Outside to Max Williams. Already a triple today for Max. He's looking to plate his former Crimson Tide teammate here in Tallahassee. Underneath it, it's foul. There's also one other X factor, Chris. There's something about traditions and superstitions. It's only weird if it doesn't work. Oh, Canada from Section B.
Absolutely started it off. You get the ball off the bag, then you get the bunt. I mean, it just starting to rally for the Noles.
There they are in their glory.
Animals in Section B at their finest.
An institution not just here at Florida State, but in all of college baseball. Lodi's running with the pitch, sliding into second. He'll beat the tag.
Another stolen base for the Noles. Now that keeps the force out of play. 2 runners in scoring position now for Williams. See that 28 of 29 stolen bases this year.
3-2. Williams almost tossed the bat.
Nice pitch by Flynn. Paints it on the inside corner right there. He knows he has a base open. Not going to give in.
Trying to stretch things out here in the home half of the 5th. 7th pitch of this AB to Max Williams.
And they've already got Flynn's pitch count to 17 in this inning. Nobody out.
Just nightmarish stuff for Flynn, who's looking for a way out. Still no outs on the board. And Williams will walk. Bases full of Seminoles for Cam Smith.
That's not a sight you like to see as a pitcher.
I said nightmarish.
Exactly what that is. Bases juiced. This guy coming to bat.
Nowhere to put Smith. He jumps on the first pitch. This is what he did last night. If you're a golf fan, it almost looked like he was in the long drive contest. And I'll tell you what, that was a long drive, deep into the Tallahassee night.
Yeah, that ball got lost in the darkness.
One to the sophomore. Adding 250 with the bases loaded. Foul tip.
And a steady diet of breaking balls from Flynn in this at bat. 3 in a row to Cam.
Down he goes on strikes. Look at that for Flynn. Oh, that's gritty stuff.
Tell you what, great piece of pitching right there. Goes breaking ball down, misses with a breaking ball, throws another breaking ball, then elevates the fastball right here. Cam just not able to catch up to it. Big out for the Irish right there. Now you're looking for a ground ball, something you maybe try to turn to right here.
Here's James Tibbs III, the teeth of Florida State's order. And there's Tibbs going straight away center. Should be deep enough to plate 1. West will tag, he'll score easily, and Florida State leads by 3.
Great job by Tibbs. Again, just getting what he takes, drives it into center field. It's another run in for the Noles, makes it 4-1.
And that'll bring up Jaime Ferrer. Home run and a strikeout for Jaime.
Not really called that one a strike all day.
Look out in the home dugout. 0-2 to the junior.
So that's kind of being very similar to Cam Smith. 2 breaking balls in a row. He can elevate right here now with the fastball. Stick with the breaking ball, try to get it down in the zone.
That got away from him. Drop third strike. And Cheney will fire to first to put an end to the 5th. Florida State, though, tacks on a couple more runs in this half inning. And it's Alex Lodi's playing some small ball to perfection that really got the momentum rolling for the Noles. West, saw the open bag. He would come in to score on a sac fly, and FSU leads by 3. The Saturday afternoon, Military Appreciation Day in Florida's capital city. We had the color guard presenting the nation's colors for the national anthem before this game began. And as is customary here in Tallahassee, midway through the 7th, during the stretch, they'll also sing God Bless America here at Mike Martin Field.
And Seminoles are wearing their camouflage hats during batting practice. Just like to say a big thank you to everybody who has and does serve for our country.
It's a privilege to be here to take in baseball and have some fun on a Saturday afternoon, and it's a privilege afforded to us by all of those who protect us daily. And so, yes, absolutely tip the cap to all of the men and women abroad and here domestically in the States. Doing a darn good job, and so too is Arnold, who has just equaled his career-high strikeouts with 11.
And you see it, he's fired up. And he hadn't slowed down with the emotion at all. I mean, he is just in a zone today.
Florida State hoping to stretch their starters out a little bit more this weekend. Arnold back out to try to get through the 6th. Ties up Baumgart right there. But to do it, he's going to have to go right through the heart of Notre Dame's order. Nothing ever comes easy. And Baumgart is 1 for 2 today with a double.
And Baumgart doubled yesterday as well. Just missing home runs yesterday and today. Balls off the screen.
West tried to frame that one. No call, though.
Yeah, not a bad pitch. Good job, though, by Baumgart laying off that slider down in the zone. It's pitch 100 for Arnold.
On the ground, that's pulled foul. 11 strikeouts today for Arnold. As it stands, would equal Chase Burns, who started at Tennessee and is now at Wake Forest, for most strikeouts of anybody in the ACC. But, of course, Burns will get the ball, I believe, today for the Demon Deacons. So that 43 likely on the rise for him. We'll see where it all shakes out. But Arnold coming in 4th in the ACC in total strikeouts this weekend. 1 ahead of his FSU counterpart, Cam Leiter. And that is a new career high in Ks for Arnold.
I'll tell you what, the emotion staying strong with back-to-back strikeouts. Fastball, Baumgart not able to catch up to it, and Arnold looking in his dugout, giving the flex. You see right there, Look at him talking to himself. And you say, I think he was saying, don't take me out, let me finish this inning. But he's looking at the dugout with that glare like, don't do it.
No.
Don't do it. Taking a peek down there in the pen. He wants to finish this inning.
The entire time he was talking to West, he was looking back at the dugout.
Hey, I've been where he's at. Trust me. I look at it. You can say it. Don't take me out.
Don't do it to me. Don't do it to me.
Saying a few other things there. Little grin. Yep. He turned around. He is not happy. But that's just the competitor in him. You got to understand right now, coaching staff and Link Jarrett, they're looking at the full season pitcher, not just today.
Crowd's already come to their feet, and for good reason. Jamie Arnold will record 17 outs today, 12 on strikes, and he's earned every bit of this.
Absolutely. And again, man, he is such a different guy this year than last year. His confidence, his demeanor, everything he does, and it showed today in a great, outstanding performance for him.
Certainly was. We'll introduce you to the new arm for Florida State when we come back after this. Andrew Armstrong heads to the mound in relief for Jamie Arnold, the senior from Flowery Branch, Georgia. He hadn't pitched a whole heck of a lot until last year when he became one of the go-to arms out of the bullpen for Link Jarrett. Didn't ramp up real well leading into 2024, but now making his 5th appearance. Had a couple starts in there, 7 2/3 innings of work. 7 hits, given up 10 strikeouts to only 1 walk, and most importantly for Army and the Noles, a clean ERA.
And again, talking about a guy who last year started the year off kind of shaky, and then, man, about midseason, he hit his stride, and he was the main guy of the bullpen for the Noles, and one of the only bright spots, really, for the Noles pitching staff last year, especially coming out of the pen, and he has continued that into this year.
FSU going to one of their proven veterans. Also going lefty-lefty here on Penny. I mentioned Army didn't ramp up all that well coming into the season. Some minor injury tweaks, a little wear and tear. Same was said for Noah Short, who we saw last night, and that's the best Noah Short looked all season.
Absolutely, and this guy right here, though, started 3 days ago against the Gators and gave the Noles into the 4th inning, stuff, and was great. So now coming in on 3 days rest, seeing what he can do out of the pen.
It's 2-0 to the shortstop. Penny has struck out twice so far, one looking, one swinging. This one will get out of play. Home runs on the year for Penny. Last year, co-led Notre Dame with 10.
See, that's something I wanted to see, how Armstrong arm bounced back only on 3 days rest, and 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Really good for Army.
Here come the K-time chants. Oh, he thought he had it.
Really good breaking ball right here from Armstrong. You saw him about to bust it and run in the dugout thinking he had strike 3.
Full count. Got him. Took one more, but he got the result he was looking for.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he went right back to the same pitch. This time the umpire was all over it. Gave it to Armstrong. Great job getting the Noles back in here.
Certainly worth another look for Andrew Armstrong. A strikeout against the first Fighting Irish batter he sees. That'll send Florida State's 5-6-7 to the plate after these messages. Tallahassee, the home of the Florida State Seminoles, and the hometown of one Drew Ferrer. One of a couple of Seminoles in the batting order this afternoon, who hails from right here in the 850. who knows full well what this baseball program means, not just in the college baseball landscape, but to so many folks here in the Tallahassee area as well. To live it, to breathe it, to experience it as a youngster, and now to have a chance to make the trip up here from Orlando. He started his career at UCF, and he slices this one foul. But it's interesting, Chris, because a couple of handfuls of guys can relate to Drew on this, one of them being his own head coach, Link Jarrett, who said, you know, there's a certain amount of added pressure that you wear, that you feel when you represent the Garnet and Gold and you're from here. You want to come in, you want to do your part, you want to help, and everybody knows you.
Yeah, and you know, both of them are Florida High products. And like you said, he left for a year, so coming back here, it's like, all right, I'm back, now let me do it. And he has done nothing but show that he should be here and wear this Garnet Gold. I mean, hitting .394 on the year and playing a heck of a second base.
He really has, and that's also been something that Link Jarrett has been very complimentary of with regards to Drew, because Drew, like Link, started off his career at UCF playing on the opposite side of the middle infield at short. And Link Jarrett did not make the move from short to second until his pro career. He said it was one of the hardest things he ever had to do, and Drew Ferrer's done it from being a freshman to now being a sophomore in college.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, and he's shown his range and athleticism there already on some of the plays that he's made this year, on diving plays up the middle, diving play over here in the 4-hole, and he's just shown everything that he can do, what kind of athlete he is. But you're right, Coach Jarrett talked about it. He said, hey, man, when I went to second base, I actually was breaking the wrong direction on some balls that were hit. So it's not as easy as some people think when you're at the other side of the bag as long as somebody has been.
Meanwhile, here at the plate, Ferrer continues to battle away, down 1-2. Against right-handers to this point this season, he's batting north of 400, which is up slightly from where his batting average is on the season itself, which is just below 400. He's the only switch hitter in the lineup for Florida State. And against a Notre Dame team that is predominantly filled with right-handed guys, whether it be in terms of starting or in their bullpen, you're going to see a lot of him batting from the left side here this weekend.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see that majority of the year, obviously, because that's tendency you see more right-handers than left-handers.
This one lifted into foul territory, peeling toward the bleachers. It'll get out of play.
See the boys and girls running for the foul ball.
Good luck if you're in front of that.
Well, I'll tell you what, growing up here in Tallahassee, I was the same way coming to all the games, but showing my age, those bleachers were wood over there on the right field line, and it was all grass behind it. There were no batting cages, and so you could go in and out all the time for home run balls, for foul balls. It didn't matter. And that was the fun part about coming to the ballpark as a young kid, was always chasing the foul balls and trying to get autographs at the end of the game.
And off go the youngsters again, and quite literally, Drew Ferrer was one of them at one point in time.
That's right.
He steps out for a second, 2-2.
Youngster showing the ball off. Oh, he's got two.
Extra achiever over there. Down goes Ferrer on strikes. He's frustrated with himself.
And Flynn with a good breaking ball there. Kind of tied Ferrer up. See this curveball here. It was kind of a late decision by Ferrer. He wasn't sure, but with two strikes, he was like, I really don't want to take a chance, and kind of tied him up.
Drew yet to make his way on base today. A rarity for him. Tinney, the freshman, who Notre Dame really likes, by the way. They really are high on this freshman in the backstop, coming out to have a word with Flynn. It's up to Dingus.
Flynn Bisson up with 2 breaking balls in a row here.
Marco, who started his career at TCC, 40 RBI in each of the first 2 seasons that he had there. A big-time run producer at the JUCO level, trying to jumpstart Florida State here in the 6th.
Ooh,
that could work. Carrying out toward the wall, and what a play out there by T.J. Williams. Wow!
You see Dingus in disbelief. I tell you what, just what Coach Stifler talking about right there. Told us how good Williams is in the outfield, and he doesn't get the credit for it as much as he does what he does at the plate. That's a heck of a play right there.
I believe he said, and I quote, he saves as many as he drives in.
A heck of a play, and you see Dingus' reaction.
Up steps Cantu, that's foul. Cantu, who actually played on the opposite corner of the infield as a high schooler. Top 10 third baseman coming out of high school, went to South Florida.
I didn't know that.
Was a staple at first for the Bulls. And has been the everyday first baseman for Florida State here in his first and only season as a Seminole. Oh, called for the strike on the outside corner. What a pitch by Bennett Flynn. He gets the punchy on Daniel Cantu. He works through the 6th. 1, 2, 3. ACC play underway, and the emotion has been turned up not just a notch, many notches. 2 of the biggest brands in the land doing battle in Florida's capital city, and they are all feeling it.
That's emotions from both dugouts and on the field. You see right there, this series has had them on both nights. I mean, last night and today. And I think you're going to see some more of the rest of this game as well tomorrow.
What a fun season to this point. As we kick off conference play in Tallahassee, we'll take a look at the game summary. Oops. As Andrew Armstrong gets set to work on Tito Flores, and Flores worked that one into the corner but foul.
That ball was absolutely scorched down the left field line.
Really well hit ball off the bat of Flores, who again transferred to Michigan. But as we take a look at where we've come from today, Bedford got the start for the Fighting Irish. Good start, all things told, for Bedford. 4 innings of work, a career-high 4 strikeouts. Glancy drove in a run off a single. Arnold, a career-high 12 strikeouts for him. Another home run for Jaime Ferrer. And Alex Lodies, after going 0 for last night, with some singles here today. One via a bunt. A beautiful bunt, no less. Just a couple of innings ago for Florida State.
Nice pitch by Armstrong there. Good changeup.
1-2 to Flores. Make it 2-2. Just on a piece.
Armstrong going back to the changeup. Like to see him double it up right here.
Didn't see Tito yesterday. He's come into the weekend as Notre Dame's RBI leader. Fighting Irish figuring things out in the outfield, looking for consistency. And Flores goes down on strikes. That has been a tune that we have sung time and time again this afternoon. 12 strikeouts for Jamie Arnold. And now Armstrong recording 2 in the first 2 guys he sees.
I'll tell you what, you see this pitch right here. Down in the zone, nice slider. Gets Flores to swing over the top of it for a strikeout.
That'll bring up Brady Gumpf.
Armstrong right back to the breaking ball.
One to Brady, make it 0-2.
Tell you what, backdoors the breaking ball and then dots the fastball on the inside corner.
That one clipped him.
And that's what you hate as a pitcher. We talked about it last night. It happened to Leiter one time. Get ahead 0-2, go to the breaking ball. Don't make a bad pitch, but just catches the guy's back foot.
Second time today that Gumpf has been hit by a pitch. Last time he was, I don't think he wanted to. He wanted it to be a wild pitch that a run could score.
And he sold it.
He tried.
He sold it great.
Tried.
Admirable umpire, though, didn't miss it.
Yeah, definitely somebody should check in to see if there's any flights available from South Bend to Los Angeles, because it was an admirable attempt.
There you go.
Estevan Moreno steps in. That got away from West. Gumpf on the run to second. Tag applied. They got him.
Ooh. Obviously, we're getting a review. We knew that was going to happen. A great job by West. Blocks this breaking ball up, hustles to it, makes a great throw. Actually, a good tag, too, by Lodis.
So off goes our umps to the monitor to confirm whether or not Gumpf is, in fact, out at second base. So as they make their way to the monitor, we'll take a look at what they will soon be taking a look at.
Again, tough to tell from that viewpoint. And we do, again, have to remember to call on the field as an out. And he definitely gets a tag on him. And it looks like that front leg is in the air. I think this call is going to hold up.
Aaron, there's one more look that we're going to examine here. We've seen the first 2. Gumpf, for the moment, will stay in scoring position.
And also looking at Gumpf's reaction, he didn't kind of balk at being called out either. He kind of like, all right, you got me.
Brady Gumpf, the guy that Sean Stifler describes as a superhuman kid, a joy to coach. Is already committed to coming back next year for a 5th year. Be one of the veteran guys for sure moving forward for Notre Dame.
Best look right here. Tag. He's out. Great call.
100%.
Great call.
Matthew Schaefer at second, who was all over it. And based especially on that last look, which is clearly the best one we've got, it would appear that he was on the money. We'll see what our ACC crew says. They agree. Estevan Moreno waiting to step back in. Sean Stifler getting an explanation. Big second out for Florida State. And there's Armstrong hitting with strike 1. Moreno wove at that one. guy that, even though he's a sophomore, about as much in-game playing experience at the D1 level as anybody on this Notre Dame roster. We talked a bit about that yesterday. A lot of the experienced guys waited behind guys like Carter Putz, Jack Ziska, guys who really drove Notre Dame on that run to Omaha under Link Jarrett a couple of years ago. They graduated after last season, so you got some juniors and seniors in there that are everyday guys really for the first time in their career this year, figuring out what that's all about. Got some grad transfers who have come in. So oddly enough, the lone underclassman in the order. Actually today now one of two because they got Tinney back in the order and into the backstop.
And Tinney only being a freshman.
On the ground here to Cam Smith. No problems for the sophomore or for the Seminoles here in the top of the seventh as we head to the stretch here at Mike Martin Field. Eastbound and down here at Dick Hauser Stadium. The Seminoles, if they continue playing like this, will be heading straight north on the rankings. Still unranked according to D1 baseball, but you have to imagine if they hold on here for a series dub, perhaps even get a sweep tomorrow, that they'll not just break into the top 25, but also well inside of that metric.
You would definitely think so. And I'll tell you what, right now, though, you got to remember, this Notre Dame team fights.
And we've seen that today, especially with their pitching staff. This is a Florida State team that comes in averaging nearly 12 runs per game. That's second best in D1 baseball. So far today, only 4. So as good as Arnold has been, and it was terrific, and as good as Army has been in relief, Notre Dame has been really strong. And when you consider just how potent the Seminoles have been on a regular basis, this is an incredibly admirable effort by the Fighting Irish. Look at Flynn getting off the bump to cover the bag at first.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, right now, too, with the way Notre Dame can swing the bats, too, and hit the ball out of the ballpark, this game is far from over.
Florida State going 8-9-1, West, Lodice, and Williams. And on a day after a day where Lodice could not make his way aboard, today has yet to be retired. Single and a bunt single for Alex. Batting average as it stands at the moment now up to 340. And for context sake, this is a guy that against FGCU just a couple of weeks ago, really, in the midweek, down around 200. And, early on as you're stacking ABs and you have a really good game here or there, you're going to see some pretty big jumps. But as things level out and he maintains this, it's starting to settle in right around the mid-300s. And good for him. He's a guy that Link Jarrett told us a few days ago, I'm keeping him in games, or I've kept him in games just to help him settle in. A, to being the shortstop, and B, to being in the order and feeling like he's safe here.
And I'll tell you what, when your 9-hole hitter is hitting at a 340 clip and has the power that he has. He has 3 home runs, but this is a guy who hit 16 home runs last year as a freshman. That's potent offense when they got that at your 9-hole spot.
Freshman All-American last year at North Florida, Alex Lodice faces a 2-2. Up the middle to Penny. Penny gathers and fires to first in time to retire his fellow shortstop. Two up, two down for Flynn. Flynn, who came into the game, and Daniel Cantu said, welcome to Hauser, here's a double. Then West recorded an RBI single. Lodice a bunt single. Then Williams walked. Tibbs drove in a run on a sac fly. Has settled in since. 1, 2, 3 in the 6th. Retiring the first 2 he's seen here in the 7th as the order turns over to Max Williams.
Yeah, it's been the breaking ball for him, too. Locating that breaking ball Just like he did right there on cue.
Pitch count now up to 50 for Flynn. Triple and a walk today for Williams. Also a strikeout and a hot shot to first. And Hink says, I've got it. He certainly does, snaring the liner midair. And Notre Dame will send their 9-1-2 to the plate as we head to the 8th at Dick Howser Stadium. Tallahassee, Florida. And the Seminoles of Florida State are leading Notre Dame 4-1. 6 hits to 4. FSU on the board early. Notre Dame responding with a run in the 3rd. FSU, after O'Canada struck, they struck again themselves with 2 more in the 5th. And that's been the scoring to this point. Jaime Ferrer with the big exclamation point, a 2-run shot in the 1st. And so that all leads us to this. Carson Tinney will start things off here in the 8th for the Fighting Irish. They'll go 9-1-2. Tinney, a guy I think I mentioned earlier in the show, as he dribbles this one out in front of the plate. West on top of it to retire him. Had an upper body injury, wasn't so overtly injured that he was going to be out for a significant period of time. Notre Dame exercising an abundance of caution with him. Hope to have him back this weekend. Good to see him back, even though that AB didn't go the way he certainly would.
And his counterpart there, Jackson West, I'll tell you what, came out of there like a cat. Pounced on that ball and made a heck of a play. It didn't look easy.
1-0 the count to TJ Williams, who, yeah, he's 1 for 3 today, but robbed Dingus of extra bases in right center with a leaping grab at the wall. That's been his highlight today. 2-0 the count to TJ. There's a strike for Army. Pulled foul.
Had Williams out front on that slider there.
Williams held without a hit yesterday for Notre Dame. Just the 4th time this season he hasn't registered a hit in a game for the Fighting Irish. So getting back to that today with a hit earlier in this game against the Noles. And this one's hit on the screws out to left field. Ferrer on his horse will watch it fly. A home run for TJ Williams in the 8th, and Notre Dame is back within 2.
I tell you what, heck of an at bat for Williams too. Fouled off some pitches and then finally got the mistake pitch on a hanging breaking ball and drove it off the scoreboard in left field.
First earned run on the season given up by Andrew Armstrong. So 2 of Florida State's 0 ERAs have gone by the wayside this afternoon against the Fighting Irish. Here's David Glancy. He also 1 for 3 today, drove in another run this weekend off a fielder's choice. That one sharply hit the foul. Another one fouled back.
2 good fastballs by Armstrong there, just going right at him.
You know, when looking at this Notre Dame team, when we spoke with Sean Stifler before the game today, Chris, he remarked about how his team does the hard stuff well, the intangible stuff well. He said there's little execution things that we haven't mastered yet, but the gumption, the guts it takes to hang in there, to fight back, we've got all of that. We're shooting ourselves in the foot to kick things off.
Right, and he did. He said early in the game is what's really hurt us, inning 1, inning 2. And mainly comes down to their starting pitching. I mean, let's be honest. And he said, but our guys don't quit. They don't give up. And it's very similar to FSU. I mean, I know they really haven't been in a lot of situations where they had to do that, but anytime anyone gets close, it seems like FSU finds another gear.
So too did Andrew Armstrong. Gave up a solo shot, comes back with the strikeout.
Yeah, great pitch right here. You know, he'd fallen back 2-0, 2 good fastballs, and then gets him with a slider down in the zone.
And up steps Connor Hinks. 3 strikeouts today for Hinks. 2 swinging, 1 looking. FSU's pitchers have done a really nice job to this point of neutralizing the guy who got the scoring started this weekend with a solo shot out to right field in the first inning yesterday. Also recorded a triple, couldn't hold up there, 1-1.
Really good. Armstrong right now, that slider's really cooking for him. And you kind of see it with the lefties. He gets a little bit more side-to-side break on it with the lefties. He shortens it up a little bit with the right-handers. One and two to the first baseman. Good pitch for Armstrong there, but great job, too, those laying off of that Hinks. Works the count to 2-2. And he's gone. Andrew Armstrong with yet another strikeout. That'll be his 4th here this afternoon. That having been said, T.J. Williams had the big highlight in this top half of the 8th. A scoreboard seeker for T.J., and Notre Dame is back within a couple runs of the Seminoles of Florida State. See, we've got a pitching change for Notre Dame. Radek Burkholz will check in. The junior from Highlands Ranch, Colorado, sees his first action here against the Seminoles this weekend. 7th appearance on the year, ERA above 5 through 13 innings of work, 15 strikeouts for Chris, 12 walks in 13 innings. Yeah, that's something that obviously he wants to cut into because he does have 15 strikeouts in those 13 innings, so he's over a strikeout an inning. But facing the part of the lineup the Noles have right now, you definitely need to come in pumping strikes and be smart. FSU will go 2-3-4. Cam Smith, James Tibbs III, and then Jaime Ferrer. Last season for Smith, batting .268, now batting north of .500. What a play by Baumgart at third, and that is good enough to retire his third base counterpart, Cam Smith. Wow, that's a heck of a play right there by that third baseman. Baumgart makes a hell of a play. And it's worth another look. You see right here, full extension, jumps up, gets up quick. Gets Cam by about 2 steps. Nice play. Oh, 1 to James Tibbs III. After going 3 for 5 yesterday, Tibbs held without a hit so far in this game this afternoon. Now, that's not to say he hasn't been productive. He had a sac fly, drove in a run. Yeah, and he hit the scorcher to second base that turned into a double play, but absolutely smoked that ball as well. Here's this one foul, 2-2. It's getting a little more interesting here in Tallahassee with Notre Dame jumping back on the scoreboard, cutting the lead down to 2 within reach. Yesterday they, at multiple points, Chris, brought
what could have been the tying run to the plate.
Yep. And right now, I mean, this game's tight.
Well, that one came in on Tibbs, and I think it might have clipped him. Would have been ball 4 regardless. It was awfully tight to him as well. It'll go down as a walk to Tibbs. That'll bring up Jaime Ferrer. And Ferrer sneaks that through the 5-6 hole. Big turn around second for Tibbs. He'll scamper back to the bag. 2-hit day for Jaime.
Jaime got a hanging breaking ball right there. Was able to drive it to left field for a base hit. Looks like we'll get a pinch runner for him.
And that'll be Jordan Williams. Williams, who had the big walk-off single against Wake Forest in Game 3 over the then #1 team in the country. It was a big-time exclamation point for Florida State last season. And a year that just simply did not go their way. Here's Drew Ferrer. To the second baseman. And that came inside. Didn't catch him. It'll be ball 2. And because it got to the backstop, really Tibbs and Jordan Williams, all they had to do was basically walk another 90 feet.
And shot into the dugout, actually. I don't even think any glove was touched there. It went straight to his leg. Now, granted, the shin guard's there, but that still doesn't feel good. Yeah, you're seeing Link out here talking to the home plate umpire after taking the ball off that shin guard. He's just trying to get that sting out of it. Now FSU's trainer's coming out. He's good to go.
Tip the cap to Art Thigpen. Putting in a hard day's work in the backstop for our officiating crew and wearing one off the shin. Ferrer steps back in. And pulled that foul. I think it's important to note, Chris, Link Jarrett even mentioned this to us. He said, would I love to think that we're going to stay at the level that we've been at offensively and score a bunch of runs per game? Sure. At some point in time, is that level going to dip? Are we not going to be able to score a ton of runs in a game? You would expect that. And so here we are in a tight 4-2 ball game. It's important for a team to know how to win games in vastly different scenarios. Ferrer laid off. That's the right call. And the count goes full. And this is FSU manufacturing something here in the 8th inning in a tight ball game.
Yeah, and it's going to come down to, like you said, clutch hits, defense, and pitching.
Oh, Ferrer rung up on the corner. Great pitch there by Burkholz.
Yeah, good pitch by Burkholz here. And obviously, full count right there. I think Ferrer just kind of was guessing a little bit because typically Ferrer's not going to take that pitch.
Ginges steps in.
But you're right. Tough, tight games like this, Coach Jarrett knows, hey, we haven't been in a lot of them. Let's see how we handle it, whether it's at the plate, whether it's in the field, whether it's our guys coming out of the bullpen. So far, Armstrong's answered it. Defense has answered it. Now they're looking for a couple of clutch hits right here, and then whoever's going to come in after Armstrong.
A timely 2-out hit, something Sean Stifler mentioned Notre Dame was looking for. Florida State looking for it right here, courtesy of maybe Ginges. Count goes 2-1 to him. If he walks, there is an open bag at first. Elevated to right center. Williams out at the track. He'll secure it for the final out of the inning. So Burkholz gets himself out of trouble with runners at second and third for Florida State. The 4-5-6 due up for the Irish. Pitch run for Jaime Ferrer. He'll now play left field for Florida State's junior. So Jordan Williams now into the game defensively and also into the game for the Seminoles for the second straight day. Noah Short out of West Virginia, the transfer from West Virginia University. Closed things out for FSU, registered a save in game one of this weekend set. Now making his 7th appearance on the year. The ERA down from north of 8 to just above 6. Really strong stuff from Short, and this is going to be, if he can continue to operate the way he did Friday, Chris, a valuable piece on the back end of the bullpen for Link Jarrett and Florida State. Obviously showing it for them going back to him again today. Chopper here to Smith. And Smith, oh, wow, Cantu got back down. I thought for a second Cantu got pulled off the bag. And that is the value of a veteran at first.
I'll tell you what, we talked about it right here. In a close game, how's your defense going to play? Coach Jarrett talked about it. Cam gets an easy hopper, but lets one kind of sail on him a little bit, but Cantu able to get back on the bag just in time for the out.
So Baumgart retired. Ooh. Fastball to Jack Penny. Strikeouts for Penny so far today. He fouls off the fastball 2-1.
See Penny talking to himself. When you're going through the scuffles like that as a hitter for Penny, just trying to find anything to kind of get you back in a groove, whether it's a bunt, whether it's a swinging bunt, a flare, anything.
That's up, and if Penny makes his way aboard, that will bring a potential tying run to the plate for Notre Dame. So an all-important first puzzle piece here, if you will, for the Fighting Irish. And Noah Short wants to make sure it doesn't make its way onto the board. Full count. Inside, ball 4.
Looks like we're going to get a pinch hitter here.
And it'll be DM Jefferson who will do the honors, as you mentioned, Chris, coming in to pinch hit. DM, one of a few guys that's been looked at in the outfield. Left field's really been the spot for the most part that the Fighting Irish have rotated guys in and out. And Link Jarrett's going to make his way out to signal for a new arm out of the pen for Florida State.
It looks like he's going to a lefty to match up with a lefty right here.
Couple of days, say hello to Brennan Oxford, a young man who hails from New Hampshire, who made his way to Wake Forest in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And when they ran out of spots for him there at Wake, went to the Cape, pitched a bunch, messed around, wound up on the All-Star team, and wound up here in Tallahassee, and he's having a heck of a year. 7th appearance, ERA at 2.61, 10 1/3 innings of work. 9 hits, 16 strikeouts to only 4 walks. Bringing them in here for the lefty-lefty matchup on DM Jefferson. There's the infield that'll be working behind him, having a chat. Oxford perhaps in line for his 3rd save on the season. Had one against Western Carolina back on February 24th. Another one against Western Michigan on March 3rd.
Yeah, and you're right here seeing him come in facing a lefty. You're probably going to see a steady diet of breaking balls.
outworked an inning against Notre Dame a night ago. Gave up a hit and also a hit by pitch, but also registered a strikeout. Didn't allow anybody to score. Only needed 15 total pitches to work through that inning. So it was pretty darn efficient in terms of the pitch count, given all that took place there in that sequence of 3 outs. So it'll be Oxford to try to slam the door shut for Florida State. DM Jefferson to try to blow this thing open for Notre Dame. The junior from D.C. steps in, and we get set to get back underway. Strike one.
First pitch breaking ball.
Jefferson played in 45 games last season, hit .254 on the year. This year batting .171. A guy that his head coach Sean Stifler said has the tools and the ability to be an everyday guy in the outfield for us. And really had a good run up to the season. So much so, in fact, they had him out there, and they also had him batting leadoff to get things started here in 2024. He went.
Another good breaking ball by Oxford. It's kind of shown here now. He went breaking ball, elevated the fastball, breaking ball again. So he kind of can go to either one of them right here.
It's down.
Great stop by Jackson West.
And despite that 171 batting average so far this season, DM Jefferson has the highest on-base percentage of any season in his career coming in to this weekend. Came in squarely at 400. Down he goes.
Big pitch by Brandon Oxford right there. Breaking ball down and away. Gets Jefferson to fish at it. Let's see this right here. Big sweeping breaking ball. Jefferson can't lay off. Jackson West makes a great stop for the second out for the Noles.
That'll bring up Brady Gumpf. A strikeout and has been hit by 2 pitches today. Florida State, the lone undefeated team in America. Now 16-0, trying to go 17-0. That would solely be their second best start in program history if they hold on here. 1-1.
Again, another great breaking ball by Oxford. Underneath the hands right there, Gumpf.
Of course, more importantly for the Seminoles, a chance to start off ACC play with a series win secured in the first 2 games against Notre Dame. That gets by Smith. More work to do for Oxford. Williams gets it back into the infield, but Gumpf has a double and a big one at that.
You don't see that very often either, because you had Cam Smith playing the line for no doubles. He hits it to the left of Smith and still gets a double out of it. You can see Cam Smith on the line for no doubles. It's by him, but Williams was just shifted way too far into gap. And Gumpf able to hustle in for a double. Now you got the tying run at second base.
Penny at third, Gumpf at second.
Now you got a guy at the plate to give you a lead. One swing.
And it's Estevan Moreno. A strikeout, a fly out, a ground out for Estevan. There's strike one. He's got 3 three-run home runs in his career, 2 this season. The multiple 3 home run games this year. are the only in the NCAA. Popped up. West has a bead on it, has the glove on it, and Florida State has their first ACC series win of the season. They remain perfect, now 17-0.
And again, excellent pitching by the Noles, timely hitting. Oxford coming in, getting the pop-up. Jackson West getting the mask off, turn around, making a great catch right there to end the game for the Noles.
FSU hangs on in a tight ball game. They've blown a bunch of teams out. This one, a different script, and still the Seminoles find a way.
Yeah, they do. As you see here, the emotions were high today for the Noles, whether it was on the base pass. It was high as well for Notre Dame, but the Noles ever pulled this game out. Arnold was excellent on the bump again for the Noles to get his 5th win of the year.
FSU will try to break out the brooms. Notre Dame will try to salvage a win on Sunday. We'll be back for it. For Chris Chavez, for our producer Alexander DeCapua, for our director Abby Longhofer, and for our entire crew here at Hauser this Saturday afternoon, Sean Davison signing off and saying so long, where the Seminoles win it 4-2. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody.